Benavidez. And the hands rattling Ramirez again. Backs him up. Hurts him. Ramirez takes a knee. He's down for the second time in the fight. And it could be over.
7, 8.
Ramirez can't continue.
David Benavidez absolutely destroys Zurdo Ramirez in 6 rounds. That was an incredible performance. That was a monstrous performance. It was a scary sight. It was something scary to witness. That was crazy. And David Benavidez' name, the monster, speaks for itself. What a fighter. What a performance. Look, I have always picked David Benavidez to beat Zurdo Ramirez because styles make fight. And Zurdo is not a bad fighter. It's just that Benavidez' style is just so difficult for almost every fighter to deal with, right? And that is the issue when you fight Benavidez, because he's so relentless, he's so fast in terms of combination, and he keeps coming all night. And the name, the monster, it follows him. And that's exactly what we see when Benavidez fights. Because in this fight, I picked Benavidez to beat Zurdo because I thought that Benavidez was always going to overwhelm Zurdo, because Zurdo he's not a volume puncher. He's a very precise puncher. He takes his time. He likes to warm up in fights. And when you're fighting a guy like David Benavidez, who throws 100 punches around, who is relentless, who's always on your chest, who's always pushing you back, you cannot be economical in a fight when you fight a guy that throws so many punches, because you have to sort of match the energy. And that's exactly what we did not see in this fight. Zurdo Ramirez, granted, he had a really good performance. He was, very good in certain moments in the fight, especially in the early on in the fight where, he was pushing Benavidez back. He was getting the physicality aspect of the fight in his favor. And it looked like he was the one that was in the ascendancy. But there was always that moment where Benavidez, will capitalize on Zurdo Ramirez's lack of urgency or, lack of ability to keep the same pace during that fight. And that's exactly what we saw, because Benavidez knew that, Zurdo Ramirez is an economic fighter. He doesn't throw as much punches as he does. So when Zurdo Ramirez looks to take a break, that is when Benavidez will now go to work. And that's how Benavidez won this fight. And it was just a crazy, crazy win in round 6. Dropped Zurdo Ramirez, and Zurdo Ramirez just could not get up, because the combination, the punches, the speed, the pressure, it was just too much. Now, was it an orbital bone or was it an eye socket, bone that was broken in that fight? We're yet to see. But David Benavidez was just too much. He was just too much for Zurdo Ramirez. He was just too much. And David Benavidez have always fought like this. He's always fought like this in the lower weight division, all the way up to light heavyweight, to then, in the cruiserweight division. And he's still fighting like that. That is just crazy sort of consistency. If you look at the fact that he's been, champion in other weight divisions, and then he's kept the same work rate. He's kept the same tenacity. He's kept the same, energy in every single fight. And this fight is no different to the Anthony Yarde fight. It's no different because what we saw was David Benavidez once again going through the gears and him being too much for every fighter that is in front of him. And that's exactly what we saw. That was a brilliant performance. Like, you couldn't get a better performance than that. And it was a performance where you look at that and go, Benavidez is a problem. Guys, I am not kidding you. David Benavidez is a problem for every single fighter in and around that division. In the lightweight division, in the cruiserweight division, in the light heavyweight division, whatever division that David Benavidez fights in, he's a problem. Because he's shown it throughout his career that he's just an incredible fighter. The work rate is just incredible. Like, the work rate reminds you of Alexander Usyk, because Usyk throws so many punches in a round. He throws so many punches. And Benavidez, man, it's just incredible performance against Zurdo Ramirez. And as you can see there, Zurdo just couldn't take the pressure. He just couldn't take the punch power, the speed, the ability to stay in his face all night. And, Benavidez just kept coming. That is the thing. Like, Benavidez, he makes his opponents, he puts a fear in his opponents, right? Because he keeps coming. It keeps coming all night. And that is the scary thing. You think you've landed all your power punches, all your big punches, and Benavidez is still there and he keeps coming. And that must be demoralizing. When you're in there with a guy, you've hit him with your best punches and he keeps coming. And that's exactly what we saw David Benavidez do there to Zurdo Ramirez. That was an incredible, emphatic win. And what he's done is he sends a shockwave around the weight division. Because right now, after this fight, he called out Jai Opetaia. David Benavidez wants Jai Opetaia next if that fight could be made. But of course, Jai Opetaia has got a problem that he has to deal with. And that is a big problem because I don't think Jai has made the best decision of his career. Him signing to Zuffa Boxing is not a good decision because now it's going to be really difficult for them to make Opetaia versus Ramirez. And that is the fight that almost every boxing fan wants to see. Like, this fight is what all boxing fans want to see. Jai Opetaia versus David Benavidez. That would be the biggest fight in a cruiserweight division. That would be the biggest fight in a very, very long time because both fighters are really good. Both fighters are red hot and we want to see it. But it's going to be really difficult to make it because Jai has gone to Zuffa Boxing and nobody wants to work with Zuffa Boxing. And David Benavidez just said in an interview that he's not going to fight for Zuffa belt. He said it. He said, I'm not going to fight for Zuffa belt. So they have to find a way to make that unification fight between David Benavidez and Jai Opetaia. Is Dana White going to concede the fact that he's not the big don in boxing and maybe humble himself to make the fight? Or is David Benavidez going to let his guard down and compromise on certain things to make the fight? Because that fight has to happen. And what a fight that would be. David Benavidez versus Jai Opetaia. Oh my goodness, what a fight. And stylistically, it's a great matchup because Benavidez is a volume puncher and Jai Opetaia is a hard puncher. Opetaia hits really hard. Benavidez doesn't hit as hard as Opetaia, but I think Benavidez, has got really quick hand speed. Although Opetaia do have quick hand speed as well, and Opetaia is really nimble on his feet. This is a great fight for both guys to get in the ring and really just have it out. Because I feel like it would be great entertainment for boxing. Jai Opetaia versus David Benavidez. And that's the fight that we need to see next. So look, congratulations to David Benavidez. That was a brilliant performance against Zurdo Ramirez in a fight where many people had picked Zurdo Ramirez to upset David Benavidez because people are thinking Benavidez is moving up in weight. And Zurdo Ramirez had to make Benavidez feel that he's the smaller guy in there. And actually, when it comes to size, Zurdo Ramirez is much bigger than David Benavidez. But on the night, it didn't matter because the monster David Benavidez just kept coming all night with volume punches, with relentless pressure, with the ability to just keep going, stay in your face, use his physicality. And he overwhelmed the bigger guy. And, Zurdo Ramirez just said, that's it. I'm not going to fight anymore. I am going to stay on my knees and I don't want to fight anymore because I have had enough of the pressure all night. That was an incredible pressure and a great performance by David Benavidez. But Jai Opetaia versus David Benavidez is the fight that we all want to see. And I hope it gets made yet. Guys, get in the comment section and let me know what you think about David Benavidez absolutely destroying Zurdo Ramirez. And now, the fight that we all want to see is the Opetaia fight. Do you want to see that fight? Or do you think Benavidez has to fight somebody else apart from Opetaia? Get in the comment section and let me know what you think about his performance and who he should fight next.